Welcome to Something to Marvel About, a podcast where we discuss and dissect the week's MCU releases. My name's English Dave, and joining me for Hexen Besson Ritual is my co-host Andrew. What's up, Andrew?
What's up? I feel like I forgot all the steps of everything. Like, I would definitely be the worst person, minus my religious affiliation. I just remember, I'm like, wait, what are we doing now? Oh, oops, sorry. I forgot the lyrics to the song. My bad. Let's go again. I feel like I'm more, he who shall not be named yet.
We're here to talk about Agatha All Along, episode 5. Once again, the title is a lyric from the song. This one's titled, Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power. The synopsis is as follows. With enemies closing in, the coven flees under the light of a blood moon to the next ghastly trial. Dun dun dun.
Dum dum dum.
Andrew, spoiler-free, thoughts?
This episode kind of felt jam-packed in a way. One of my slight issues with this show maybe is the pacing, but that might just be a me thing. But not to discount the wow factor of this episode, right? They gave us a big reveal, right? Probably the biggest of the season. I feel like the tension once again skyrocketed this episode in a lot of ways, both with things that happened in the past and things that unraveled as they were going down the road. So that was really good. It's definitely we've 100% left the haha. Mrs. Hart is long gone. And so I enjoyed it for just the ramped up intensity. And again, it's such a free IP that honestly they're doing whatever they like. And just for me, I once in a while it's like semi-jarring, but overall I think it just helps with the overall just feel of this being a brand new show about honestly a bunch of witches walking down the road. I mean, what else are you meant to expect but things to kind of go in such unique directions, and I think I'm enjoying some of the character interactions as well, because it's not all happy-go-lucky, and it's not like we're all forced to be friends. You see a lot of times when the tension gets to them and people are like, no, I'm not doing that.
You're reminded how they really feel.
Yeah, which again, fair enough, because what were you expecting from a bunch of witches going down the road? So I enjoyed it. I think the wow factor, which we'll discuss, was super. Like I said, definitely felt a little like, not a bad way, but like just jam packed. Like I think about it, a lot happened in what 30 less than 30 minutes. I'm pretty sure less than the runtime was.
It's like 25.
Yeah, and it was like, okay. I mean, they got through a lot. Maybe they could have fleshed it. I feel like it would not be bad as a 40-minute episode show, just to flesh out something just a little bit more. But again, some of the reveals were I guess worth the wait.
No, I agree with you. I believe this was the shortest episode of the season so far, and I think any issues I have with this episode is to do with the runtime.
Yeah.
Because we get a lot of good things, but because we get those good things, we needed more time to breathe within those good things. And I think the trial itself is probably the weakest as a trial.
It was super weak.
It just gets overshadowed by what the other things that happen.
Yeah.
As opposed to it, I see at times they try to integrate the things that happen with the trial, but I don't think it integrates fully.
Yeah.
As previous episodes have. The previous episodes where they had the trial with the personal connection to whoever's going through the trial has more of a direct kind of cause and effect, where I felt like this one was more jumbled. And I think that's part of the runtime. But I enjoy this show. I'm enjoying this show in a sense of it really does feel like a sequel to WandaVision in the approach, the weekly approach. With WandaVision, every week was a different TV show era style. This one was still getting a different era of like fashion and style every week. So I do appreciate that, and it's a great way to give the actors more breathing room to kind of flex their acting muscles.
Yeah.
Some things we get are things that we predicted, but I think they do a good job of, even though you predicted it, the way in which it's done, it's still like really good.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And I think that's good writing, because that means that sometimes when you predict something, it doesn't necessarily mean the writers didn't want you to predict it.
Yeah.
They've been some of the reveals, they've been giving us breadcrumbs, right? It's not like
So
out of
big,
nowhere.
big breadcrumbs. Yeah.
Right. So it's big work. So they wanted us to know something, at least the super fans to know something. But again, how it happens, and then some of the reveal that happened, I was like, oh, already? I didn't expect that
Right.
till later
Yeah.
in the season. So I
Which is
appreciated
like,
that.
what else? What else is coming? Right. It's now.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay.
Like, that was quick. What episode am I watching? But in a good way. And then once again, this show continues to play with our emotions in terms of how we feel towards Agatha.
Yeah.
Because at times she comes across like, understanding, and you can have empathy for her. And then she can be sweet, she can be funny, but sometimes scary.
Just like, ooh. Yeah,
just like she can switch just like that. Yeah, and I think, again, the great writing and great acting by Catherine Hahn in that regard. But let's get straight into spoilers. We're going to start with the big, big, big reveal. Andrew, many of us in the internet are correct.
And like you said, I don't think they're not trying to pretend like that's not what it was. But I think the big thing for me after the show, because I'll be honest, I don't know, I didn't catch on to something. Maybe I was too wild in the wowing of everything. I'm so silly. At first, I didn't realize that he was controlling Lily and Jen. I don't know what was. I think I was just like, oh my god, what is happening? And then obviously after, like, wait, oh yeah, the eyes were blue. His powers were blue. He controlled, and just the whole sequence. It actually felt a little bit like Wanda, right? Like with the finger movements and I think they filmed that really well. So yeah, not like, yeah, we guessed it, but still it was very much like a worthy, like, oh shit, it's actually him moment, right? And the other thing I didn't actually fully realize is or what is your guess? When did Agatha figure it out? Was it when he said her son's name? Because that meant that that's not his name, right?
Well,
But
that's the thing. I don't know when Agatha figured it out. And they use a lot of wordplay that makes it interesting, because he says, I know who you. No, she says, just like your mother. She doesn't say just like Wanda.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure we can assume he's talking about Wanda.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know when she figured it out. Could it have been last week when Rio kind of made her realize that that's not your son?
Yeah.
And she kind of figured it out. Has she been listening to our podcast and listening to our theories? I don't know.
She's been with us all along.
Exactly. She's been with us all along.
Right. So
I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm sure they'll let us know when she figured it out. We're gonna get some kind of flashback or moment where we realize, or maybe she's making a great educated guess.
Maybe, but I think that's all. Like you said, I was like, wow, this is episode 4. Like, this almost felt like an episode 7 reveal, right? Like
episode 5.
So this was 5. Sorry, this felt almost like it would be an episode 7 reveal, like right before the finale, and then you end with that. So I think the show has done a good job of ramping up the intensity. Like I said, not just with that reveal. Even Alice dying, because honestly, I was not happy about that.
I was like, she's gonna wake up, right?
Yeah.
She's going to wake up, right?
My wife and I too, right? Like, come on, now let's wake up.
Any second now, she's gonna go.
Yeah. And I was like, they stopped Agatha early. Maybe she didn't, take out her life force, and then and then they show her on the floor, like, oh.
Or Agatha's going to be like, here, take it back.
That's what we thought. When she started going up the stairs, I forgot that was the exit that just came down. I was like, oh, maybe she's going to go find, the tonic of a unicorn's, foot. I don't know.
No.
Like, do something, y'all.
Nope, I'm out. Bye.
But I thought that was, again, almost similar to Penguin, which we review and you should listen to. I like just the constant reminders that this is not a hero we're watching, people. Like, even if I believe that Agatha in that moment, Agatha, I've said it again. Even if I believe that Agatha was not intentionally trying to take her powers, she still kind of was, right? Like that's like her secondary goal, right? She may not in that moment have been thinking, "Oh, this is what I'm trying to do," but like, that is what you've been trying to do. Like, we all know the real you. So like, I just love those reminders. And then, I also feel like it was her, which is another question I guess I also have for you, right? Is that, was it her prodding teen that made the Wanda in him like come alive, right? Because it's
Well,
not like he didn't get there and start, showing his powers. He was still fine until she was like,
mhm,
all up in his face, like,
with her fingers like this.
yeah, like what the hell? Like she literally was. She's so rude, right? I feel like that's when the wonder spell in him triggered. Like, all right, now just reject all witches.
It's so funny because in that moment she goes from like wondering what's going on. She sees her
Yeah.
powers working. She's like looks scared and worried.
Hmm.
And then when he says all that, she kind of her demeanor changes. Like she's like, like she does it so
So,
well. You go
yeah,
from like, I feel sorry for you, like maybe she did it by accident. Maybe
yeah,
it was, problem. And I still believe maybe a part of it is kind of instinctual. I think that she's
yeah,
like Rogue.
yeah, yeah,
She's kind of like Rogue where you can do it on purpose if you touch someone on purpose, but
yeah,
then it can also work inadvertently when you're not
yeah,
trying. It's
yeah,
just a reaction.
yeah.
But when she says something along the lines of of when he's like, "Oh, I wouldn't do things like that in terms of killing for power,"
Really?
and she's like,
Really?
"Really? Would you? Would
Really?
you?" And again, that kind of like you just like your mother line. It
Yeah.
works in that regard too because Wanda was never actively trying to hurt anybody,
Hmm.
but
Man,
circumstances, you
she
know.
did some damage.
but
She did some damage for
but
sure.
but you reminded me of something that I was thinking about. Do we think in that moment Teen is acting from control or is he being controlled?
He's either being controlled by the spell of Wanda in him, or I don't believe this. I just read it online. Someone was like, "Oh, Agatha's son possessed him." I was just like,
Oh,
"Whoa!" I don't know why, but
Nicholas.
like, yeah, Nicholas is because he's the one that read out Nicholas's name, and
Hmm.
like right before they left, he got possessed. I don't think so. I really
No, I
feel
don't
like
think it's Nicholas.
it was like a protection spell that triggered, right?
Hmm.
When because he was never afraid of Agatha before, right? He was more like a revering of her. He wants to be part of this club, right? He's been
Hmm.
following them. He's a familiar. He wants to join, and then that was the first moment where I feel like he was like, I don't want this, right? And the spell in him was like, oh, that's the trigger. Let's go, boys.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Power take
It's like,
over.
oh, she's too
The
close.
phoenix, the phoenix within him was like, yep, here's my cue.
Yeah, no, I think there's something to that. I think like what happens next is him kind of like coming back and like what happened, what did I just do,
Mhm,
kind of thing. I don't think he's aware just because it doesn't make sense of too many things coming forward. I don't think he's the out here because even when he tries to tell them who he was before,
mhm.
he seemed confused as to what are you talking about. There's a
Yeah,
sigil over my mouth.
yeah, like,
you know, unless again, we also know that the sigil spell makes the person who cast it forget. So unless he did it to himself, and then
oh, never actually
these things,
considered that.
yeah, and then
Like
he
in the mirror.
forgets. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And then something triggered when she's like, and just like your mother, like, oh, she almost knows who I am.
Yeah.
Trigger this kind of thing. But either way, I'm sure they're doing it to some purpose because they want us
Mm.
to know
Yeah. And the last reason I
what.
don't think it's him is just because he also attacked Lily and Jen, right? Like
Yes,
if it was
yes,
him, I
yes,
feel like he'd be like Agatha, yes. But then Lily
yes,
and Jen
yes.
thing, like they didn't really do anything to him. He was like,
Though when he was like, help Alice, they were like, we can't, sorry.
I mean, yeah.
That's what happens. Gotta move along. We're all in it for
So,
the same reasons. We're all
so
trying to
soon
get
he's like,
power.
I hate you all. I hate you all of you.
All of
So,
you witches are the same. What the hell?
me, I was like, yes, yes, find Jesus, boy. Find yes, teen. Reject the witches.
Let's go back to the beginning. We get some cool moments at the beginning.
Yeah,
Once
what happened
again,
again? Ah,
the Salem Seven arrive, and we get confirmation of who they are. They are the spared children of
the
the witches that
daughters.
Agatha killed. And I love when Agatha like Agatha's like moral of the day.
Yeah,
Moral of
like
the story.
sorry.
Finish what you
Finish
started.
what you started. Also, mercy is overrated. Like,
I mean, you can't argue with her
I
in that
mean,
context.
I mean, I
You
don't
like
like
that?
to agree with the witch, but points were
But
made.
points were made. You understand where she's coming from. And what else I liked in terms of the approach to, again, I love when this show plays with like real world lore about
Mhm.
witches and things like that. So we get more about how they see brooms.
Yeah.
right? And it's not necessarily literal broom, is and it's like brooms have been co-opted by the holiday industrial
Holiday
complex.
industrial complex. I think it's just one of the best lines ever. I had to rewind and write it down.
I love that.
She's so good. I actually really love Lilia's like consistency in like breaking not breaking just mentioning the stereotypes, I guess.
Mhm, mhm,
Because
mhm.
and then Jen was like, and they're basic.
And they're basic.
That's my oh my
I
god.
did like the flying scenes. I was waiting for us to see a flying scene
Hmm.
by the blood moon as well. I love
Yeah.
when they just like teens like, how'd you do this? They're like, figure it out.
And they're like
Essentially,
like like sir, read the room. Just figure it out. Uh,
and I do like they kind of, again, this is when good writing, because as they were doing that, my brain was just like, well, why the hell didn't you do this whole time? And then Teen even says that, why haven't we been doing this? And the
mhm.
road was like, this is why. As soon as you think it, as soon as it's said, it's instantly like pulled down. I thought that was a good way to kind of experience it. Um, Another moment of Agatha being a dick during the Ouija board moment when she's possessed.
Yeah.
What did you think?
She got me for a
Did she
second.
get you?
She got
You
me for a
see,
second. I'm like,
she got me until the name Mrs. Hart. And I was like,
because
wait
it
a
never,
minute.
yeah. You pull up the Scooby Doo mask, like, it's Agatha. Guys, no.
All along.
She once again, no, she definitely, I mean, good acting, I guess, because,
Great acting in that
yeah,
moment. But then,
I was told for just a second.
but it's such a moment of being such a dick because you're having fun and making fun, but Sharon died.
Yeah,
Kind of making a
like
joke of
actually, like it's not actually not funny. Also, too soon. Like,
right? Literally just died, and you're
like
making fun. And the things you're saying are all true. So it's like you're aware. Like the way she was talking, I was like, damn.
yeah.
No, I did like that. When she was like, they're talking to death, and then Rio laughs. Why does she laugh?
Mhm.
Wink, wink.
She like
Nod, nod.
Rio. So because you mentioned Rio, when they were also flying, she had
Oh
the
yes,
stereotypical,
the
the
cackle.
like the witch
But
cackle.
but we noticed every time, because this was happening when they were falling.
Yeah.
Every time they're in danger, she's just like, yeah, she's
Well, I
excited.
mentioned that, yeah, because it was like she was literally like, woo, and things were going to absolute shit. And I don't want to forget because I might, and Ray was missing at the end. I think
Yes,
that's the key that's gonna. I can't wait for next episode. Actually, like
I mean, again, in terms of what we've known and what we've been shown, she does say in previous episode, "You get the powers, I get the bodies."
so she's probably back there munching on that corpse.
And Ali's body is there, and they left it. And,
Literally, she's like, finally they've gone. She cracks her fingers. Poor Alice's corpse.
What I find interesting in terms of Rio is that at first, when the possession happens, and they're like, "Oh, Agatha deserves to be punished." Like when she's like,
She's
people
like,
say, people say why people also say why I don't have female friends.
yeah,
Um,
Agatha's such a troll. Uh,
but
Rhea was ready to cut her neck
yeah,
there.
she was ready to like, all right, let's go, let's go, let's go. But then later, when we'll go into
Her
that,
mom.
the mother, the ghost of mother, it's like, oh, leave Agatha here and go. Rio's like, nope.
No way.
What's up with that? Is it because Rio's like, if anyone's going to kill Agatha, it's going to be me? Or does Rio know about Agatha's mom? Because she does say that
Yeah, right.
that she defended her with the mom, said, oh, she tried to sacrifice her. So what do you think? Where does Rio,
I
where
don't
does
know. I
Rio
feel
land?
like they're like you said. There's a flashback loading that's gonna answer these questions. I
Mhm.
hope, right? Because yeah, the flip was crazy because she literally whipped out the knife. Like, I mean,
Let's go.
because someone was it Lilia who was like, "Oh, we can tie her up,"
Yeah.
and Rio was like, "No, we can kill her."
What's that movie? It was like that escalated quick.
Yeah, exactly, right. But then she sees her mother and is like, "Yeah, literally no way." So that's why I'm not sure. I feel like there's something we're missing with the whole altercation with her mother and I guess what original Salem 7 or Salem
Well,
7
which
Salem Senior
again,
7.
I mean, you were born evil. I ought to have killed you the moment you left my body. I feel like that would
Thanos.
traumatize you.
Like Thanos, is that you? That's literally what I was thinking. Like,
Right.
like
I was like,
what do you mean?
damn. And again, moments like that where you're like, damn, that's what Agatha's been living with since birth.
Yeah, like, oh, sorry.
Like, oh,
So, sorry-ish. I mean,
sorry, ish. But
can
again,
I
it's
give
just
the
like
reasons?
it's kind of like vicious cycle, right? It's like because
Mhm.
she's treated as evil, she acts like
It's
evil,
like I might as well be.
right?
If I've been deemed something, and again, not to get too
Since
deep, but
birth.
why not? Yeah, it's like even my culture, like some people are scared of naming some children some names because they say that you will be like if I name you after your grandfather, you might become like him. So like, was he a good guy? You have to you have to be careful because
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
actually will repeat these things, and people almost live up to the names that you give them. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm also curious as to why her mother said that, right? Because again,
Hmm.
similar to Thanos, it was kind of obvious. Look at that kid. No offense, but like I feel like there's some context to her saying that. I assume it could also be a crazy mother, right? She could be been a terrible mom who pushed her child the wrong way. But yeah, it was
Hmm.
definitely a deep line. Even if, what did Agatha say after her mom possessed her, and she was like, that's the closest we've ever been,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like those little elements showing you that, like, yeah, they had a terrible relationship. like, that is clear.
Yeah, no, I want to know more about that because I think that connects to whether or not Agatha has control over her powers of siphoning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because even again, when we see the flashback that we saw from WandaVision, she's begging, please, 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 and
Yeah,
then boom, they attack her. She draws all their power because again, she can't,
she can't initiate
she can't
the
initiate it. Yeah,
extraction ever.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly, exactly. It just comes from boom every time you're hitting you.
it feels like an innate protection spell almost gone
Hmm.
bad
Hmm.
somehow, right? Like if
Yes,
anybody
yes.
tries to attack you, girl, you
You end up siphoning all
you,
their
yeah,
powers.
you taking that if they don't attack you, you're fine. So like,
And then I
she's
wonder if, once it's started, it's hard for her to stop it. Even if she starts it on purpose, it has to go all the
Mhm.
way. Right? There's no
Yeah,
like, I'll take just a little bit and age you up. No,
yeah.
it's all or nothing type thing.
I wonder though,
Um,
because the way she made it seem like she could have stopped if she really tried. I don't know
mhm.
if she, or at least that was the impression I got when she answered teen, right? It more felt like she said, because she didn't say I've never been able to control it. It was more like, oh, I couldn't control it
Oh, true, true,
that time.
true.
But again, who knows? It didn't feel like she was. I think one of the really good things about Agatha is well, not always, but you can almost tell when she is telling the truth, right? Because she would have no problems being like, "Yeah, I took it," but she literally like was a little bit shocked.
All right, let's talk about favorite moments that we haven't spoken about yet. Um, I'll, I like them. Again, this show keeps us reminding us that it's horror. When Agatha gets possessed, just like Exorcist style on
Ooh,
the
I feel that.
ceiling, and just like,
Yeah.
and then Jen's like, she's faking, she's faking.
And
Oh
she
no.
like she literally does the back handstand. She's like, no, Jen continues to make us proud. She has all my thoughts like real time. Like,
the
no way. Oh, never mind. That's
the
real.
Jen's always quick to just be like, kill her, kill
Yeah,
Agatha.
yeah. No, that's why I said I like the reminder that like this isn't Avengers, right? These aren't like good people. She's amassed. Like they're all at best not
Right.
terrible, right? Like,
And they're all in it for themselves.
hmm
They even say as such. This the risk they take when teen is like, "Oh, help Ali." Yeah, like, would you take another person's powers for your own gain? They're all kind of on some
yeah,
level or other in it for something for themselves,
yeah.
right? I liked when she's like, "Are you defending a noted serial killer? You creepy lurker."
Like it's like an
um,
insult, but like not too bad, so they don't come after you.
right, right. I find it interesting again. We've seen many episodes where Lilia jumps to another place. We're assuming it's in the future consciously, and she's saying things. She even
Yeah.
says it when they're being attacked at one point. She says something, and then Teen's like, Lilia's being
So
weird
she's like,
again.
yeah. I also like that he just always catches it, right? Oh, I can't. I'm assuming because my guess is because next road is yellow, which probably lines up with Lilia. I'm thinking we get some explanations,
Mhm.
um, or hoping because I'm very. I think that's one of the things I'm most curious about this show that they've been showing us because now we mostly know that that's Billy Maximoff, but it's like,
Mhm.
what is actually going on with Lilia? Like,
Mhm.
literally, ma'am, like, do you have Alzheimer's between a different multiverse or something? Like, I don't know. I actually I can't even really guess what it is, and so I'm really curious to find out.
Well, it's interesting when Ali goes to save Agatha from her mother, just reacts. Right. The first thing that Lilia says is Knight of Wands. And my research, Knight of Wands is a tarot card that symbolizes passion, energy, and impulsiveness.
Mm.
So Ali impulsively jumps forward, trying to
Hmm.
save her. And I believe, I have to go back, and I believe a last episode, Lilia says something to Ali along those lines of like, don't,
Mm.
or don't help, or don't protect, or something like that.
Yeah,
I forget exactly what she says. And I think it was probably a warning of this moment. So, and I'm curious to see if the show is going to kind of, I say that to
continue
say,
that.
but not just continue, but when it happens, when we catch up to the moment, it doesn't telegraph it for the audience.
Yeah.
You either catch it or you don't.
Like, yeah, take it or not. I would like that, honestly. I also
Yeah,
love
yeah.
when they don't always, like, I like when it's there but they don't necessarily tell you, aha.
Yeah, like that's
Notice,
the
like,
moment she said.
nope,
You
if you
know.
catch it, you catch it. If not, wait till you watch a review from the Nerdy Bunch, like,
Yeah.
that's how we all watch TV together these days, right?
Right, right. So I did like that aspect of it. Any other moments we haven't spoken about?
Just the mud was just random, but the mud was so gross.
Oh my
No,
goodness.
no, just like
How do you think they survive that? Do you think the mud is more like
a portal.
transport? Yeah, like again,
Like,
transportation,
it's
something
like
that takes them somewhere else.
it's like Stranger Thing, they end up on the other side. It's either that or Rio for me.
Comes out of nowhere, like pulls them
Yeah,
out.
yeah, probably. Like, literally, just like, what are you guys? It'd be funny. She's just like, what are you guys doing? Or again,
Wiping her lip.
if I wrote this show, and not even joking, Rio would walk out and be like, "Oh my gosh, are we swimming?" Like, just dives
Joins
into
in.
the mud. But yeah,
Exactly.
I'm curious to what happens there. Like, what the larger implications are of this. I feel like this show is definitely dropping breadcrumbs for future Marvel IPs, right?
Oh, of course.
And
Uh, my brain now is they're setting us up for the return of Wanda. That's where
mhm.
my brain is going now.
Because again, the light after Wanda got crushed never has been explained. There's
No.
just so much hovering around. But yeah, no, I see this show as just I almost see this show as serving like a larger purpose in the grand
Mhm.
MCU than we realize. Maybe not like Thanos level, not like top level, but just like enough where it's like people were introduced and like some things were set in motion where
Mhm.
we'll be seeing the ramifications for shows and movies to come. I just get that feeling.
Again,
And then just to close on Rio, it's
gone.
so funny that she hates ghosts though.
Yeah, yeah. I was like,
That's the
oh,
only thing. The only time I've seen her afraid. She's like after the ghost, she's kind of like,
she wants the body. She doesn't want the
yeah.
any energy.
She can't do anything with that. It's literally the opposite of
Right.
what she wants.
Um, let's go back to that ending because I think I'm not usually a fan of needle drops.
Hmm.
And for those who don't know, needle drop is when you kind of in a moment play like a popular or known song to emphasize a scene.
No, it worked well though
This
this
was
time.
perfect.
That Billie Eilish song, yeah.
Like the timing, the
Yep.
thing, the reveal of the crown, it's just like
Hmm.
boom, you should see me in the crown. I was like, oh,
Hmm.
that's great. That
I
was
was
just
like,
great.
give that one to them.
I was just like,
Get your
that
clap.
just like, they're eating in that one. I was just like, that was good. It was perfect song, perfect moment, perfect
Mhm.
showcase. I love the fact that his crown is like Wanda's, but it's blue.
But like his version,
His
not the
version,
exact version, but his.
like the one in
I'm
the
also so
comics.
bad. Yeah, I'm so bad because like, oh, M like Magneto. No, Andrew Maximoff. Like,
Duh.
like, sorry, what are you saying, sir?
Idiot.
Oh my
Idiot.
god!
Look yourself in the mirror. You're not a nerd.
Right. Oh my, or too much of a nerd, right? Like trying to
Right,
force
right.
the Magneto in here.
He went too far the other side.
So yeah, like I'm like wrong IP. um,
uh, but yeah, I thought that was brilliantly done. But I think also it's interesting to see that Marvel over the last few years have been setting up characters who we spoke about this before, who at least in the comics would be on the roster for the Young Avengers.
hmm
And now we just had another one confirmed.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
visually at least. And again, speaking on the idea that we said that sometimes these secrets aren't meant to not be solved.
Yeah.
I mean, literally his outfit when he goes into house is his outfit that he wears as a kid in One Division.
Mm-hmm.
As Wiccan, which is similar to the comic book outfit. So they were
Yeah.
telling us like, "Hello, the blue and the red." They
Yeah.
weren't trying to hide it.
I like it. I like when it's like, Easter egg in story type of
Hmm.
thing, right? Like not
Hmm.
just a random thing, but it's like, yeah, like we are. Yes, we're confirming for you who know, and those who don't know, just
Don't
you
worry
will
about
soon
it.
know.
Yeah, yeah, because they're not putting like a big magnifying glass on his outfit.
Mm-mm.
He's just wearing an outfit.
Mm-hmm.
If you know, you
But
know.
and I also kind of like that they didn't stretch it too far. I mean, episode 5 is a good time for the reveal too. In
Hmm.
hindsight, right? Like
True.
again, they could have kept this till 7, and I would have still been like, "Oh, that's expected." And it's nice that it's kind of like, okay, elephant in the room. Let's address this now.
Let's go.
And again, I'm just like, okay, so wait, 3 more episodes? Like
But
what?
again, in smart writing, it answers one, but it begets more
Mm-hmm.
questions. We're like, wait,
Who,
what?
what, when?
If you're showing it now, then what's left?
What's like
I don't know. I was
almost
reading this
scary?
article. I'm not sure if I spoke about this before, but I was reading this article with the writers of the show, and they were saying how because it's I think it's the lowest budget of any Marvel Studios TV show, and obviously it's the first of Marvel television. And the approach is that, and when I say low budget, it doesn't mean it's low budget. It's just low by comparison. It's not $200 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 50 or 60.
Yeah,
So it's still money. They still have money. They're not scrambling.
yeah,
But because it isn't these high hundreds of millions of dollars, they also have less pressure from bosses and
yeah,
execs and shareholders. So they have more freedom to kind of like be more creative and have more fun, as opposed to other shows that have so much money that everyone starts putting in their 2 cents, like, oh, you should do this, you should do that, you should do
yeah.
that.
It becomes about returns and
Exactly.
capitalist thing.
And then because it's not a show that's written for lots of heavy CGI visual effects, they
Yeah,
can now put that money into practical effects. Again, I
yeah,
was saying to my wife that this episode, you see like the road looks physically there, and even
yeah,
even the Salem 7, just the way they move and the costumes
yeah,
is so scary.
yeah,
Nothing feels, obviously it was a bit of like stretch of the imagination when they're flying.
yeah.
Yeah, but outside
But
of that,
still,
nothing looked like that looks off to me
yeah, I
visually.
agree.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think they did a great job of that, and it kind of lands perfectly.
I
Also,
agree.
I was reminded of my Casio G watch. They reminded me of Power Rangers, the
All
all
right, yeah,
different color watches.
all right. Those watches were awesome though back
Yeah.
then.
I
Actual
was like,
good times.
yeah, nostalgia.
So,
Anyway,
um,
anything else? I think that's it. This
the
episode.
random funny moment was when they were preparing. Teen was reading the rules for the board, and they were like,
Yes.
"Do not taunt the spirits." And then they're all
I
like,
repeat.
and Agnes like, "Wait, what?" And then she literally taunts. I feel like she taunts the spirits, but acting like Mrs. Hart. Like
Right,
to
right,
me,
right.
I'm like, "Ma'am, we just said don't play. Now here you are playing. Like, stop
And
it."
he even says, I repeat. He repeats himself with it too.
It's just so funny. I love when like everybody in the room knows that like we know you, Agatha. Like us viewers, we know this is your show and you're the troublesome one. Like just just stop.
or rule number 2, do not speak over each other. And instantly they start speaking over
Yeah,
each
like,
other. Where does it
and
say
then
that?
teens like anyways like as I was reading like
Oh, I like
and
what.
that's why so just to end with a nitpick still or not end but like I still have to reiterate that yeah I'm almost upset that they didn't stretch out this episode a little bit more because it did just almost feel rushed because I'm still trying to like
Well,
deal
again, I
with one
think,
part of the story and just that the challenge felt so much easier than the other two
yeah,
right it just
exactly.
kind of felt like
Yeah, it didn't feel like a challenge that caused them to look at how they view witchcraft, right?
yeah
Use their skills as witches, as witchcraft, and I think they've learned, and it like the previous challenges has, and
hmm
with with the first challenge, learning her Jen, knowing the fact that she's good with the actual physical
like everyday tools
ingredients
even like
and things
everyday
like that.
things
Jen learning about
yeah,
the
Alice
sorry, Alice.
Allison
Yeah, learning about the curse, right? And need the music to kind of break that curse and
hmm
accepting that side of it.
yeah
This one doesn't have as you could argue, and this is just me going out there, is that Are we sure this was Agatha's trial?
Mhm.
Because the only way we know
Mhm.
that is because Rio was like, it's Agatha's trial. And
It's
it's like,
true.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But are we sure it
It's
wasn't Rio's trial
mhm.
or Teen's trial?
Yeah.
Like, do we know? I mean, it
Yeah.
probably was Agatha's trial if I
Yeah.
was to bet. But I'm just saying, do we know it was
Yeah,
Agatha's
for
trial?
color, we don't know anything. I think that's another thing with these ladies. Like, you can't believe anything they say. Like for all we know, we get to the end of the season and literally Rio lied. That is her son,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
Wanda's been controlling him because
Right,
she
right.
found out. Right, like that could happen. And I'd be like,
I mean, Agatha says, just like your mother, it could have been just like me.
That's what I thought. Except it would mean that what she doesn't like to hurt people. I'm like, but yeah, like,
I'm just
yeah, I'm like, you
no,
kind
no,
of
no,
like to
no.
hurt people though.
I know, but I think that just like my mother could have been like, you will,
You will. Oh yeah, like maybe
you know.
I started like that. Oh,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I used to be so.
Get naive in this
Mhm.
world and things like that. And it's like, okay, you say that, but you haven't experienced anything. But you don't know how. Because again, we know that there's key moments in Agatha's life. You know, the way her mother treated her and something to do with
Yeah.
her son. You know,
Mhm.
she's been through these things that have caused her to be a certain way. She's like, you haven't gone through those certain things. And
Yeah.
the life of a witch is going to force you to go through certain things because every one of those witches have gone through something traumatic
Mhm.
on
Yeah.
some level, you know. Anyway, I'm excited for the next episode. I'm
No,
curious to see where this is
same.
all going.
Same.
And more, I'm thinking this might have a larger effect on the MCU than I thought. I don't know.
I do think so. Like
Yes.
just with death, with potentially Billy, like those are two huge
Potentially Wanda.
characters. Well,
Because I
potentially
feel like
one.
if Wanda returns, if it's in this show or set up by this show, I think the return will have repercussions. Wanda just doesn't come back and then, oh, yeah, she's back. That's
It's like, oh, I'm
it.
back, and then I'm going back to my apartment to go watch movies, right?
No.
Like,
I
she's
think
back,
there's
and
because I could see her coming back and then being involved in like an important movie
hmm
kind of thing where it's like her return is essential. And we also know
hmm
that there is a Vision, a White Vision TV
hmm
series coming called Vision
hmm
Quest.
hmm
Is this going to set that up too?
it'd be nice. It'd be nice to have her as almost like a thread, even if it's not her directly, but her existence
Yes.
or her, her actions. Yeah, right. Like I don't mind not seeing her for a while. Eventually, we will, I guess. But even if we just see, like, yep, yeah, she left a charm here. Oh, yeah, she actually had a child who she put a
Mm-hmm.
sigil on over there. Like that could also be cool, where we just continue to feel the heat of Wanda's presence
Mm-hmm.
up until when she makes probably a because I almost feel like her reveal would be wasted on TV. Is that fair to say? I don't know. Her reveal feels bigger. Her coming back feels bigger than the TV series.
Yeah, yeah.
It feels
Well, that's
more
how I
like they
think.
would drop breadcrumbs and then
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
exactly. The
she would
TV
then
series
in the movie
teases it.
bam. Hmm
Never. But again, she's had her own TV show, so you never know. It can go either way. Um, Final moment I liked, small moment when they do the what's it called, the Hexen Besson, which is
That thing.
the ritual they do with the brooms.
Hmm
I liked when Jen and Lilius do their swap, and Jen's like, "Oh, this is so nice," and then Lilius is like, "You could have done better."
like
Damn,
like wow. I mean, thought
we
this
were
was
in
a
a
bonding
rush,
moment.
right? And we were in a
Yeah.
rush. We don't have time to do
Like, do
these
you
things
mind?
properly. My gosh,
That's so
which
funny.
I
Again,
thought
yeah.
when they get stopped halfway through the ritual and the thing jumps on Teen, I thought, oh, that's it. Something's going to happen. Something bad's going to happen. But once again, Ali's the one that jumps to save the day. Reacts. She's a quick
That's
one, quick to react.
I can't believe they killed her. But I love it. It just it really raised the stakes because she
Yes,
just
yes, it
like
does.
she died like that. It wasn't even like drawn
No,
out per se. It was just like bam.
no,
bam.
it wasn't. She didn't have like a. It wasn't like a big moment where you're like, yeah, she's going to die. It just boom. Oh shit.
Or,
Oh
or
shit.
she didn't die saving them from the others. It was Agatha's fault. It was like
Yep. Yep.
that was. I think that was definitely a moment to remember in this show where it's like okay, this show is not what I was coming. I don't know. Again, I don't know what I was expecting,
This is
but
not
this show
about
is
sisters
definitely
bonding.
not.
And this is not the sisters. The what's it? There's something of the traveling pants.
Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
This is not
No,
that.
no, 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 no. Like not at all. And I
No.
think that's somewhat refreshing to see. It's nice to actually see a group of people move forward, falling apart.
Yeah, I
It's
like
like
that. Move forward, falling apart.
like
I
that's
like
the
that.
whole point of this. It's like
Yeah,
it's almost like the alien movies when you
right,
know you start the movie knowing okay, so she's the one that's gonna survive. Okay,
right, yeah,
everybody else is gone. Great.
yeah, yeah. And in this case, it's not necessarily the good person that
Mhm.
survives.
Actually, not at,
Who,
it's almost the opposite, right?
exact.
It's almost
Well,
now like in order of goodness, right? Like, because Mrs. Hart was probably the
right.
goodest, not best, but the goodest of them all. And then Alice was trying to save like she also would almost probably in the pecking order be next in line.
Hmm.
So by that vein, I don't know what is Lilia next.
No idea. No idea. But we shall find out. What do you know thinks of this episode? Find us on social media at the Nerdy Bunch. I think it's up to episode 9. So 4 more to go. Where do you think it's going to go? Give us your thoughts. Give us your theories, your wild, crazy theories, and your simple, obvious theories. We'd like to hear them all. You can also find us an email, the Nerdy Bunch podcast at gmail.com. Check out some of our other podcasts and let us know if if there's anything you'd like us to review and watch. Sometimes you don't want us to review it, you just want us to watch it. Let us know for that too. There's a whole bunch of stuff coming out that I want to see. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, David.
My name's English Dave, and this has been a Nerdy Bunch presentation of Something to Marvel About, where we spoke about Agatha All Along, episode 5. Whew. And as always, Andrew,
Keep it nerdy.
peace.